Hi, welcome back to Engine Shop Joe. Today we're going to take a look at a part of a data log that a branch sent to me, and they had done some work on the engine and then they put it in a regen when they were all done just to make sure everything was okay. It went into a regen and ran for about 15 minutes and then came back down to idle, and they saved the log and sent it to me and said, well, it's all done, how's it look? And then I had a little bad news for them. So let's take a look and see what we saw. Okay, we've got two engines here. On the right, where everything is shaded in faded red, and then I've got some comments above with just using characters. That was the unit that was having a problem, and of course the green on the left was the good unit that I kind of put this together and sent to the people that sent me that log. And the numbers on the left are not hard and fast in stone. Let's call them ranges. So exhaust gas pressure, my experience on engines made as of the last engine I saw this last week, exhaust gas pressures are always around 114 up to about 160-ish. And the 160th is really pushing it. That's getting high and something's not right. But they'll still regen and get hot that I've seen if you're in kind of this ballpark I just mentioned. Boost can be anywhere from 3 pounds up to 25 depending on the engine family. And then most of the engines regen at 900 to 1,000. There are a couple exceptions where they'll get up at 1,100. VGT COM or commanded and VGT MES or measured, that number generally is between 90 and 98 depending on the engine family. And the VGT number, that changes as the system tries to control exhaust gas pressure. So the VGT percent closed is not something I don't think is written in stone. I think it has a variable or a range that it's allowed before a fault's logged as the system is trying to get exhaust gas pressure where it should be. And then turbo speed's about 40,000, 39, 40,000. And all that all looked good, and it was a great regen. We got up to about 1,080 degrees in it. And so that was my engine example that I sent them of a good regenning QSL9. Now, on the right was their QSL9. They had done some work to it, some after treatment work, and some other work on the engine. And they sent me this log, and it regened out, out back. It's a crane. It regened out back just fine. And they thought everything was great. And they sent me this log, and I says, time to put the brakes on, guys. There's a problem. Now, look at the VGT commanded and measured. It's 99. That's pretty much as close as it can get without choking the engine. The turbo speed was about 13,000 RPM high. Why was that? Well, when you close the VGT, you're raising pressure in the exhaust manifold and it's making the turbo spin faster because there's more velocity. Why did the VGT do that? Why did it go to 99? Look at the exhaust gas pressure. That's very low. So the software was trying to bring that pressure up, and to bring it up, the only way it can do it is choke that turbo off or close the VGT. And you can see that the turbo impeller was spinning because look at our boost. It's 11.9, 12 inches. That's over 200. That's 200% of what it should be. So the numbers are all jacked out of shape. The only thing that was right was the RPM. So I said to them, you need to look for the problem. What do you think the problem is? So I don't know. I'll find that out in the future. They'll call me back eventually and let me know what it was. But I told them, check the exhaust gas pressure sensor, make sure it's okay and reading correctly. The only way to really do that is swap it out and see if you get the same reading. Check the tube that it looks like a brake line that screws in the exhaust manifold that goes to that sensor. Make sure that that's not cracked or leaking. Make sure the hole in the exhaust manifold's not carbon shut or over. I've seen that. Make sure there's no cracks in a manifold, blown exhaust gaskets, blown turbo gasket. There could be something wrong inside the turbo, but I doubt that. I think the problem is either a sensor error or there could be something wrong with the wiring between the ECM and that sensor, because it does read that, it determines that pressure is correct by reading a signal voltage. So if we have a corroded wire and we're not really getting the correct signal voltage back, we could have a low reading there when actually the pressure is much higher. So once they sort that out, I'll let you know in a future session here what it was. Thanks for joining me on Engine Shop Joe.